One of the scariest moments in PDC history happened at the 2019 Austrian Darts Open, which Michael van Gerwen entered, having won 3 of the first 4 European Tour events of the season. MVG had never won at the Steiermark-Halle where the event was held, but made a great start, averaging almost 25 points higher than Steve Lennon in a whitewash win. He averaged over 21 points more than Stephen Bunting in his third round win, where he only dropped a leg before beating Peter Wright in a sudden death leg in the quarter-final, despite averaging below 90. He returned to a ton plus level in his semi against Daryl Gurney, which he won 7-3, to reach the final where he faced Ian White, which meant it was the same final matchup as the previous Euro Tour event. The walk-ons for this game went as usual, but then the MC made a crucial error. The MCs on the Euro Tour give an announcement and introduce the referee ahead of the finals. Doing this stood to the side of the oche when the players are already on stage, allowing the players to throw their practice darts at the same time. However, the MC in Austria didn't move to the side and did the announcement in front of the board. MVG then did something crazy, choosing to throw darts when the MC was still in front of the board. Luckily, none of the darts hit the MC, but he did duck slightly to the left before every throw. Ian White then joked around and pretended to throw his darts on his legs while stood backwards when the MC was still in the way. The MC then left the stage and allowed the players to practice as usual, and the commentator gave him this piece of advice.
Lesson learned there for our MC here in Graz, that maybe it's perhaps best to just step to one side when you are introducing the referee for the match, when the two players are on stage and keen to get started with things.
Despite the fact that there was no injury in that situation, there is a scenario where the actions of a player have hurt someone working at the event. Paul Nicholson was part of the Australian team at the 2019 World Cup with Simon Whitlock, and the pair whitewashed Ireland in their first game to get through to the last 8. The Australian duo then beat the seeded Belgian pair in a doubles decider to get through to the semis, where they beat the third seeds, the Netherlands. This meant that they were through to the final, where they faced the top seeds, the England team of Phil Taylor and Adrian Lewis. Ahead of the final, there was tension between Nicholson and Lewis, as Nicholson felt that the two-time world champion was trying to get in his head for the whole tournament, commenting backstage on various things, such as why Nicholson was representing Australia. Nicholson has said that he felt that both Taylor and Whitlock could sense the feud between the pair during the final, and that he felt that Taylor was trying to calm Lewis down. The final went to a sudden death deciding leg, and Taylor pinned the ball to give England the throw. It was the Aussies who were first to a double, when Nicholson missed both tops and tens. Taylor then uncharacteristically missed the same 2 doubles, giving Whitlock the chance to get the win, which he also failed to capitalise on, missing on the inside of double 10 and double 5. Lewis then stepped up and hit double 5 with his first heart to get the win, which was heartbreaking for Australia and left Nicholson looking particularly devastated. Paul was so angry that he slammed his darts onto the stage floor and punched the stage backing. One of the darts that he threw to the floor bounced up and hit a cameraman, and Lewis had seen this and shouted at Nicholson about it. Nicholson has said that he deserved this telling off, but that he did not learn from this, as he did it again later in that year and was fined. Gerwyn Price and Peter Wright were the second and third favourites respectively to win the 2020 PDC World Championship, and as the third and 7th seed, they were on a collision course to meet in a high-profile semi-final. However, both men were nearly eliminated in their first games, with Price coming for a tie-break with Willie O'Connor, where the Irishman had a costly miscount towards the end of the game, and Peter Wright beating Noel Malikdem in a sudden death leg after hitting a skin-saving 140 checkout to deny Malikdem a shot at 42 for the match earlier on in the final set. They then both won their next 3 games to get through to the semi, where there was drama after the first set where Wright laughed right in Price's face after taking the opening set. After this, Price could be seen muttering something under his breath and shaking his head as he walked off the stage. Price then made it 1-1 and celebrated right in front of Wright's face. Peter then won 4 of the next 6 sets to take a 5-3 lead, and when the players returned from the break, TV was broadcasting them throwing their practice darts. Price could be seen throwing a dart just moments after Wright removed his from the board, and so the dart came very close to hitting him. On review of the video clip, this was very dangerous, and if Price had thrown just a tiny bit earlier, there could have been a major incident. Wright went on to win 6-3, and there was no handshake between the players following the tie. Price also nearly hit Van Gerwen twice in a Premier League game in 2020. In the 10th leg of their tie, the Iceman threw when MVG was still in the firing line and so had to cut his follow-through shot, but he still hit a treble 20 before apologising to Michael, who held up 2 fingers to show that it had happened twice in the game, as it had also happened earlier. Another player who threw a dart before it was safe to is Mervyn King. King won his first 3 games of the Premier League in 2009 and was top of the table heading into the 4th week, where he faced Phil Taylor, who was just a point behind him. Taylor took a 4-2 lead in this game, and in the 7th leg, he dropped a dart on the floor after taking it out of the board and so bent down to pick it up. King was already at the oche and ready to throw, and he released his first dart with Taylor still bent down, throwing it over the power. The game finished as a 7-7 draw, and Taylor mentioned this incident in his post-match interview.
When I was bending down and he threw the dart over my head, I thought that was out of order, but that's just what he does and didn't like it.
A scary moment happened in a Modus Super Series game between Gavin Carlin and Franz Roach in 2020. Roach won the first leg, but didn't get a great start to the second leg, where he struggled to get his darts out of the board after hitting 57. When this happened, Carlin failed to react in time and threw his first dart with Franz's hand still very close to the board, in one of the most dangerous darting moments we have seen. Carlin laughed and apologised, whilst Franz gave him a very dirty look.